You've hit your tee shot, smashed it straight down the middle on a par 5 or long par 4. You step up to your second shot on that bare tight lie, and you know you've got to hit the 3-wood. You've got to get the 3-wood out of the bag and hope to hit it well. And time again, this doesn't happen. You get those tops, you get those duff shots. Well, in this video, we're going to be diving into a simple and the only drill you need to be able to hit your 3-wood from the deck. So this is what we're going to be looking into in today's video. For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Harry, PJ Golf Professional, transforming golfers worldwide down here at The Golf Project. Subscribe and comment down below the tips or drills video topic you'd like me to cover in a future video. So let's start with the tendencies. Every single student of mine that came to see me suffered with this one issue, and it was the thought they were giving themselves in their heads before hitting every single golf shot using this club, and it was the thought of keeping their head down. Now let me explain why this is a massive problem. So when it comes to keeping your head down, there's two main issues this brings into the golf swing, and number one being when we make a swing and try and keep our head down, we stop rotating in our swing. We stop rotating, and as we stop rotating, subconsciously we know we're either going to do one or two things. We're going to continue swinging down with the arms and eventually hit the ground, because when we rotate, we have to rotate to be able to strike the golf ball properly, or we start to bring the club down into position here, and then we go, hang on a sec, I don't want to hit the ground, so I lift upwards. And that's where the topped golf shots come into place. So the duff shots come into place when we're thinking about keeping the head down, and we don't rotate because we're keeping our head down. We can't rotate if we're trying to keep this head down. And this happens here where we get the arms casting down in front of us because there's nowhere else for the arms to go, or we end up jumping out the way, getting very stuck in this position here, and then end up thinning the golf shot like that one there, which is no good. This is the cause to why a lot of you out there really struggle to hit these woods, the 3-woods in particular, off the deck. So the way to think of this simply is if we're keeping our head down, we can't rotate, we can't freely swing and move the body in the natural movement it should do and take place in your actual golf swing. So it limits things like accuracy from the off-centered strikes, the duffs, the thins, but it also limits the distance. So when you're stood there on that second shot off the deck and you do that movement, you get worried about topping it or duffing it, then we start to overthink, right, we need to keep the head down, struggle to rotate, and cause those two outcomes. So let's simplify this now and see how we can eliminate this from happening in your golf game. What is the drill that's going to help you hit the 3-woods off the deck every single time without fail? So the golf swing works an arc. It works in a big circle back and forth, and the easiest way for me to describe this for you and explain this is by using a hula hoop. I want you to picture this, rather than the hula hoop being vertical to the ground, because we don't swing vertical to the ground, parallel to the ground like so, nor we swing vertical to the ground. We swing somewhere on this almost 45-degree angle, where the club begins here, works its way up to the top, back down to impact, and round to the finish position. But what happens if we were to reduce this circle during our golf swing? What happens if we were to bring this swing circle and reduce it, or even make it even bigger? Well, that's going to affect what we call the low point, isn't it? Imagine the golf ball being here. That's going to affect that low point. If the swing circle's even bigger and the golf ball's here and we push it down for when we stop and want to keep our head down, well, that's going to cause the swing circle to go underneath the golf ball. So therefore, that's where the duff shots are taking place. Vice versa, if we go, hang on a sec, I'm going to end up duffing this golf shot and jump back up and nearly extend, we're going to be lifting the swing circle further up. So where the ball is here, lifting it up, we're going to end up topping or thinning the golf ball. The idea of this, dead simple, the drill is designed to help you maintain this nice swing circle, this nice hula hoop like circle here, as opposed to lifting up or going too far down. If it lifts up or going too far down, that's where it affects the strike, and that's why it's so difficult for us to hit this club off the deck. So when I take this hula hoop away now and I make a swing back and forth just to keep things simple again, you swing up to the top and then we keep our head down, the swing circle moves downwards, it drops. Therefore, we're going to be making contact with the floor first. And on the odd occasion, When we do this, swing circle drops, but then we lift our body and early extend back up, and that's when those thin and topped golf shots come into play. So I want you to completely forget about keeping your head down for now. And we're going to be working on two things, this two-step drill that's going to help you strike the ball pure every time. And the first one being, we need to relax and free up the body movement. We're so restricted with our head down, it makes us very difficult to rotate. So let's get that rotation first back in your golf game. So I want you to take your hands either side of your thighs like so, all set in your natural posture position, ready to go. And the first initial move I want you to make, now the golf swing, of course, we want to rotate round and round, but if we just rotated round and round, it'd be pretty much like swinging with that hula hoop on this lateral motion here. So we've got to get a little bit of what we call extension as well. So how we get this extension to get the club working upwards, this motion here, as well as getting this rotation, just like I'm doing here, is putting the hands across like so. And I want you to imagine, just for now, no rotations taking place, you're just going to tilt like so. And when you tilt this way, well, we're extending this right side, the trail side of the body, and we're flexing this lead side. This is what's going to happen and take place for the backswing, just like this here. So do this a couple of times, and the same on the way through. Okay? But it's just the opposite. Now we're extending the lead side and we're flexing the trail side. So how the golf swing works to get the club up into the top of the swing is moving this way for the backswing. We get this extension in the trail side, and then we get this extension in the lead side for the downswing and turning through the shot. So how can we now bring this into adding it into the golf swing itself? Well, all we need to think for the backswing is doing this movement here, but at the same time allowing this trail hip of ours, for me being a right-handed player, the right hip, to turn and twist away from that golf ball rather than going towards it. We want it to move away from the golf ball. At the same time, I'm still extending this trail side of my core area here. And that allows me to get this natural flow, this natural rotation taking place up to the top of the swing. And if you just look from this camera here, you can see that when I do this, my head actually lifts up ever so slightly. And that's fine. The head's only moving there because my spine is moving, because my body is naturally moving in the golf swing. You'll notice that a lot of players out on tour, they don't just keep the head completely still. They have this natural flow taking place, working their way up to the top of the swing, and vice versa. It works the exact same on the downswing. We've got to allow this extension to take place. We're allowing this lead hit now to work away from that golf ball. So we're really extending this lead side of the body for the downswing phase here. And we're extending the trail side of the body for the backswing phase. So adding this into a golf club now, once you've got used to this, doing this movement either side, back and forth, you can see there, my hips are rotating, shoulders are rotating, nicely up to the top of the swing, freeing up everything and allowing the club to flow. And that's how we're going to keep that swing circle. So I want you to hit a couple of shots just using like an 8-iron, just to get used to this first, feeling this motion back and forth nice and slow, and start to build this up into a full swing. For the second step, it's all about controlling where that club head is traveling in the golf swing itself. So we've allowed the body to free up. We've developed this understanding of what it's like to allow the body just to rotate and naturally flow in the golf swing, but we want to make sure this club head is being controlled whilst we're doing this. So to keep things simple for you, all we're going to do is we're going to feel, just as in the initial start of the golf swing here, as we're getting this extension and rotating this hip away from the golf ball, we're also going to add this club head is going to drag along the ground for as long as possible. So really almost increasing the width of this circle. And that's fine, but as long as we maintain this increased width on the backswing in the downswing as well. And I'm getting you to feel this because it's much easier rather than picking the club up and then reacting and then casting on the outside, because that obviously ruins the club path and therefore those slices come into play. We want to be making sure when you're doing this, you're actually hitting them nice and straight down the fairway rather than striking them pure, but they're going too far right or too far left. So what I'm going to do here to start this golf swing, initiate this takeaway move here, I'm just going to feel this hip rotating back, same time allowing this extension to take place. And I'm just letting this body take the club head back, keeping my arms nice and wide, relaxed though. I'm not tensing like this here, just nice and relaxed, working the club back like so. So that's stage one. Once you've got used to this, we're really pushing the club away, feeling this extension taking place in the golf swing, pushing it all the way up to the top of the swing. We've got this feeling before from this extension in this trail side and the hip rotating back, and that should help you just naturally set the club in the top of the backswing. If you feel like the hands and arms are working too close, where we get this flexion where the lead arm, the left arm for me, bends like so, we know we've either gone too far round, or the most common one, and this is probably the one that you're going to have after working on that stage one of this, is you're allowing the hands just to fall to you because you're so used to keeping the head down and avoiding those duff shots. So we want to keep the width. We're allowing the club head to work nicely on this wide arc, feeling this extension, feel this rotation all the way up into the top of the swing. A nice bonus tip for this feeling at the top, I like to feel like my hands are as far away from me as possible. So I'm really almost pushing, using my lead arm, the club and the hands especially, to the sky here. So I've worked it up to the top, really increase this width of arc. But the question is, how do we transition and begin that downswing? Once we've got that right, everything just free flows and we can start to naturally see that ball striking improve, as well as the distance and accuracy. So once you get to the top of your swing, initiating this first move, working it all the way up to the top, keeping it nice and wide, pushing the hands further away from us and keeping them there. The idea on the downswing now is we want to be initiating this side of the body, the lead side. We've worked it up to the top, we've loaded it into position, now we want to fire it. We want to be firing it, controlling this club head. Again, we're feeling this extension, this rotation in the lead hip, this movement taking place on the way through. Get a couple of moves, just doing this just to help you get this feel before making that downswing. And now, using the club at the top, we're doing the same movement, but we're keeping this, our hands and the club head, as wide as we possibly can. So you should feel your body should naturally rotate and lift ever so slightly upwards, and at the same time we're going to allow this extension to take place, pushing the hands towards the golf ball to allow for those strikes to take place. But mainly think about that swing circle again. I've spoken about this already, but we're maintaining this width here. If we do it really nicely on the backswing and keep the width, but then we bring it in, it's no good. We're going to get jumpy again. We're going to go too far low or bounce back upwards and top it. So we've got to maintain this width on the downswing that we've been able to generate in the backswing. So dead simply, we're really pushing this away, allowing the club to move away like so, keeping everything nice and relaxed all the way up to the top of the swing, pushing the hands away, and the feeling continues. We're allowing this extension and rotation here to take place to initiate that downswing, but we're continuing, we're maintaining this width. And for you, it will feel like you're pushing the hands, you're continuing to push those hands away from the body, you're rotating, 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 and it should be much easier for you to improve that ball striking. Just as a nice little breakdown, we're developing that understanding from stage one, step one, of what it feels like to free up this body motion. We're extending and we're rotating at the same time to get the club to the top, and then back down in the transition phase and all the way through to finish. Bringing the club into this, the whole idea of this, to keep things simple, is keeping that width of arc, the swing arc, as wide as possible. But we're maintaining this width of arc throughout your entire swing, rather than going too quick and upwards like so and then having to cast out and react, or doing the opposite, go very wide and then bring the hands too close to us, and then we end up doing the opposite and get too close to us in the downswing. We want a consistent flow. We want to keep this circle a circle, as opposed to going too wide to in or too in to out. So again, we're just allowing this rotation to take place. We're pushing the hands away, dragging the club along the ground, increasing and really pushing those hands away, increasing the width of arc all the way up to the top. And for me there, like I said, and a lot of my students thought it felt like this as well, as soon as they get to the top, they're pushing their hands further away as much as they can, and they're maintaining this as they transition, get this extension, get this rotation in the downswing. You can make a couple of swings back and forth, extension and rotation, or extend and turn, just to keep it a little bit shorter. So extend and rotate, keep the width of arc, up and down like so. And you can start to increase the speed doing this. You can hit a couple of shots first, just on a little tee, just so you focus more on the movement as opposed to the strike. And then once you start trying to hit a few shots off the deck, the key, the most important aspect I would say with this is trusting that it's going to work. You felt the movement, feels much easier to do. You can feel that keeping the width is so much easier, keeps the swing controlled, keeps this club head in control during the entire swing, so you're going to see much better outcomes. Right, so pressure's on now, isn't it? I'm going to hit a shot, and let's see where this goes. That felt really nice. A little bit of too much of a draw, which is what I'm currently working on, but the strike was really, really nice with this 3-wood, the Titleist 913F that I'm using here. So really, really nice strike. If you want to be looking at how we can keep this dispersion more consistent, work on this for the next couple of weeks, and then make sure you check out this video over here, which is going to help you control the club face. And you can add this in as well to the woods and drivers. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and comment down below the tips or drills video topic you'd like me to cover in a future video. We'll see you next time.